why certain communities, genders, voted the way that they did. Otherwise, all you get from the Election Commission on the day of counting is a number, which is the overall vote share numbers. You don't understand the granularity. Otherwise, any politician can get away by saying whatever they want. You actually get to see how different castes are moving, how different communities are moving. Rajdeep?
You were mentioning Amit Shah's reverse psychology, and there's a story which is told to me which in a sense typifies, I think, the way they fight the election. Because a lot of Congress people have thought that why is the Prime Minister going till the very last moment, Amit Shah, the very last moment. Many are saying they violated the model code of conduct, and that it is debatable whether they did or not, and thought that this was a sign of their desperation. Now in 2012, Amit Shah fought an election in Sarkhej. He's a dominant figure there. He comes there and sees that there are no posters of his opponent, and says that, tells his people, "Arey, unke bhi poster lagao." So they are surprised that here is their leader saying, "Mere opponent ke poster lagne chahiye." Why? Because he wanted to tell his people and his voters that we are in a fight.
No, absolutely.
Because otherwise they would come out and vote on voting day. Now, who is thinking in these terms? So clearly you've got someone, whichever side of the political divide you are on, who is trying to understand the management of an election. Now you could call it Sam, Dam, Danda, Bhed, whichever way you look at it, it is a way of doing politics.
I'll build on the story that you're saying. This time during the Gujarat campaign, we saw the Bharatiya Janata Party making a conscientious effort to try and prop up the Congress's fortunes. Tell the Congress, you are the principal opponent, get the Congress up and running, because what they didn't want is Aam Aadmi Party emerging as the dominant opponent. They'd rather fight a comatose Congress, and therefore you had the BJP trying to pump life into a Congress which was struggling in Gujarat.
To be fair to that, because my family partly comes from Gujarat, just like Rajdeep has a part of his family from Gujarat, it has always been a bipolar state, and it is a state where third party has never had any kind of ground in that state. Because people of Gujarat are very, very conscious, and they are very, very smart about their electoral choices. कोई गंजे से बाल उगाने का तेल नहीं खरीदता गुजरात में. So they are very smart about their choices, and Aam Aadmi Party was never a factor there. They will not even cross Nota there.
See, Rahul, but there is, what you are saying is, Rajdeep is saying is right. Prime Minister started in his first few rallies with development talk. After that, when Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra, he suddenly discovered that Medha Patkar was walking with him, and Prime Minister started talking about how the Narmada Dam was stalled for 30 years. That element came in. Then came the element about anti-tribal, pro-terror. Then came the Aukat element. There was a definite shift. I think the Prime Minister wanted the battle between the BJP and the Congress on larger issues than on the local issues.
But let's come back for a moment to Himachal. Because, and then we'll come to Preeti in a moment. Because in Himachal, since we are looking at these numbers, the fact is that anybody traveled there who's come back has said there is anti-incumbency. From the Agniveer scheme, to apple growers who are upset with minimum support price, to government employees who are angry with OPS, to those who are affected by rising prices, to those who've been affected during the COVID years because it's a tourist destination, have been affected by unemployment. Let's get it clear. While Mr. Shehzad Poonawalla is right in saying that the BJP has tried to push this pro-incumbency theme, in Himachal they have faced genuine headwinds. And it has not been easy. So even if they get 34, 35, it will be a huge achievement. If they get less than that, it's clear somewhere that where Mr. Modi is not on the ticket, I repeat, where Mr. Modi is not on the ticket, in Gujarat he is on the ticket. In Uttarakhand was an exception, and Shehzad is right. But by and large, remember in UP, Mr. Modi was as much on the ticket in a way as Yogi, because he is from Varanasi today. Otherwise, generally, we've seen BJP dips by 10 to 15% between Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha. If that happens in Himachal, and I'm comparing 2017 now to 2022, the BJP is in trouble.
I don't agree with you.
If the women voters come in large numbers, I think the BJP is
I don't agree with Rajdeep, and I'll explain to you why. 20% of the respondents in this poll said they voted for the BJP because of Prime Minister Modi. He was very much on the ticket. You may not have seen his face on the ticket. He was very much on the ticket. If the BJP loses, rebels would be a big factor. Remember, in a state like Gujarat, 40 people were unhappy with the way tickets were distributed, whether it is the Prime Minister, largely the Home Minister, also C.R. Patil making calls, going and meeting them, the Home Minister, Harsh Sanghvi going and meeting them, getting them to sit down. In Himachal, they could not control the rebels. 12 of them actually contesting on an independent ticket, and that's the big difference. The fact that someone like a Prem Kumar Dhumal, after it was decided that he won't be given a ticket, stayed at home, didn't campaign. And the fact that you had these rebels in the fray, and I want to introduce Rajat Sethi at this moment as well, it suggests that in a small state with small constituencies where people, despite an overwhelming goodwill for the Prime Minister, you could still end up in a very tight fight.
Well, Rahul, if you look at both the hill states, Himachal and Uttarakhand, there is one peculiar aspect to these state elections is, over there the local candidate, irrespective of which party he's coming from, his or her goodwill matters disproportionately more. And what we are seeing in Himachal Pradesh, even during the campaigns, it was the public which was looking at defeating individual candidates and supporting the others. So I believe that whatever you are seeing this mixed sort of a result coming in from the exit polls in Himachal. It has to do with individual satraps challenging the incumbents and tilting it in their favor. So I would want to read it from that.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think one fact that we are missing, and maybe Mr. Gupta can come in on that, is the entire youth factor. 18 to 25, 26 to 35, the gap between the BJP and the Congress 45%, BJP 39%, 49% and then 41% and 26 to 35 age.
But unfortunately that particular age group, which is 18 to 25,
even 26 to 35.
Yeah, it contributes only 15 to 20% of total base.
Of your total base?
Yes.
Okay.
You see, when you said that Narendra Modi, people asked, and we can put the graphic, what is your reason for voting this party whom you have voted in this assembly election? 32% of BJP voters said development of the state. 19% of them said Prime Minister Modi.
That's the point.
Right? Now, without him, you could argue they would do even worse.
They'd get hammered.
But the fact is that even with him there, I'm just contrasting 2019 Lok Sabha. 2019 Lok Sabha, BJP's highest vote percentage in the country was in Himachal Pradesh at 69%. Turn to 2021 by-elections. In the same by-election, the BJP comes down by 20 to 25% on an average. In Mandi, they lose a Lok Sabha. 1 year later, we've had a Vidhan Sabha. The BJP is in the fight. It's in the fight because Mr. Modi, if you remember, famously went to Himachal Pradesh and said, when you press the lotus, you're voting for me. JP Nadda doesn't go to Himachal Pradesh and talk about the problems of apple growers, doesn't talk about old pension scheme, doesn't talk about Agniveer, doesn't talk about tourism. What does he talk about? Uniform civil code and vaccines. They are trying to draw, I agree, on Brad Modi. But the problem is, the BJP is facing in Himachal is that there are headwinds. As I said, without those headwinds, I believe the BJP would still win Himachal. But if they still win now, it will be because of women. I think the woman voter is the BJP's only hope.
Basically,
but Rajdeep has been very unfair to JP Nadda ji. JP Nadda ji, as health minister, when he was the union health minister, he was behind the Bilaspur AIIMS. He was behind the hydroelectricity college there. And Bilaspur is now emerging as one of the biggest hubs. The drug park has also been launched. So, to say that our campaign, you like the UCC bit, and therefore you have reduced our entire campaign to UCC. And by the way, may I ask you, what is wrong if we have a vision to implement the Uniform Civil Code? The Congress party was in power in Goa, your state, one of your states, when it was implemented. It was in power when it was put in the constitution. The Supreme Court has advocated for it. Why are we against the UCC?
One minute. The Uniform Civil Code existed in Goa, predates the Congress party.
But they never removed it. They never removed it. That is exactly what I'm saying. Why are they against it today?
I would like to ask you.
They have become uncivil. They have become uncivil Congress committee over UCC